Welcome to Raising the Bar podcast,
sponsored by the Ashmore Law Firm.
We're your hosts and siblings,
Gary Ashmore
and Lori Ashmore Peters.
Subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. All right, we'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Raising the Bar podcast. We've got an amazing guest. Let me first start by introducing myself, Gary Ashmore. I'm one of your co-hosts, along with my sister,
Lori Ashmore Peters.
All right, and we're here with Sherye Grobe. And she's going to tell us about Anthology of Highland Park. Let's just go with it. Okay, so Sherye, if you will please tell us.
Hold on. I am so sorry. He just has so many problems sometimes with the introduction.
Okay, it's Monday, and maybe it was a rough weekend.
I don't know.
No,
It was something.
It was a rough weekend, but that's for a different day.
That's a story in and of itself.
Story in and of itself. All right.
We'll have to tell it one of these days.
We will.
Okay. All right. So yes, Sherye Grobe with Anthology of Highland Park Senior Living.
Yeah.
Executive director, correct?
Yes.
And it's like a brand spanking new facility.
Yeah. So we are a new community, Highland Park, right on the edge. We don't even have residents yet. We're 11 stories, so you can see us. Mm-hmm. Kind of catty corner across the street from Albernays, to kind of give a reference point. We are a senior living community, so technically we'll be a licensed assisted living with memory care.
Okay.
But if you go to our website, it talks about supportive independent living. And the reason we say that, well, kind of a few, is in our assisted living apartments, they all have washers and dryers. And we have 36 two-bedrooms, which have full kitchens. So someone can really be independent, come and go as they please, and just do their own thing. They just don't want to always meal plan or housekeep or keep up with the yard or, any of those things.
Okay,
Right.
so that's the senior living piece of it, right? So, until our dad, broke his hip and we had to get him in a facility, you hear senior living, you hear retirement community, you hear independent living, assisted living, memory care. Memory care, we know what that is.
Right.
But all of these other words, it's like, okay, what's what? Like, how do you know how do you know what you might need, and how do you know if you're looking for parents what they may need? So with it being assisted living, what does that mean?
So it really breaks down to independent. There's two types of assisted, and I'll kind of explain. And then obviously memory care. Mm-hmm. So independent, they don't really do anything for you. They technically don't have to provide any meals. It's just mostly a place to be able to meet people and have community, okay? Another key point to that is, say you do happen to fall, they can't touch you.
For independent living?
For independent living.
Oh, wow.
So it's
They
like you're
can't
just in a
touch you.
high-rise apartment, basically.
Right.
Okay.
They have to call 911. Or if you need some kind of say they do offer pendants, well, they can't technically help you. They can just get help by calling 911. In assisted living, we can help you evacuate in case of emergency like a fire. We can, say you do fall and you need help getting up. We evaluate and make sure you're okay. If you're okay, we can help pick you up. The breakdown to the two different types of assisted living, you've got your type A and you've got your type B. The biggest difference, obviously there's some other small things, is going to be type A can only help you with up to one person. Type B can help you with up to 2 people.
Of the assistance. Who's giving
Right.
you the assistance, either one person or 2 people?
Like,
if
so
you need-
say you fall on the ground and you need 2 people to kind of help you get up.
Okay.
So if you needed 2 people and you're in a type A, they would have to call for help.
1-1. Oh my gosh, I never knew
Oh,
that.
didn't know
That's
that.
interesting.
Okay.
So that's the biggest difference. Obviously, there's other, small differences, but
But
that kinda
does
gives you-
assisted living, or does either type A or type B, does it provide, medication, help with medication, when you take them?
Yeah.
Actually handing it to you to take.
Yeah, so they
Okay.
can, both types can do all the ADLs in the sense of medication management,
Okay.
helping with bathing, dressing,
Okay.
grooming, all those types.
So do you know what an ADL is?
I don't. I was going
Okay,
to ask
so
you about this.
ADL is activities of daily living.
Correct. Activities of
ADL.
daily living. Okay.
I had to
Okay.
learn what that was. I'm like, they can't handle ADL. What?
I need help with ADL now. I don't know, right? That's right. I don't know.
Okay, got it. That's so interesting. Okay, but so for Anthology of Highland Park, it's senior living, but yet I guess you said on your website it's assisted living and memory care.
Yep, so we'll be a licensed type B with memory care.
So up to 2 people.
Yep, up to 2 people.
Medication management. Okay, very, very good. And then, but they can still prep their own meals in their own apartments.
So, where that comes into play is, obviously, yes, they can do that. But as assisted living, we have to provide 3 meals a day.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So they can choose not to eat ours and prep their own.
Okay.
Or it's a couple. Okay, for example, and truly half the couple doesn't really need any help.
Okay.
They need help with their spouse. Okay? And that's why they're moving in. So they still want to have that feel of true independence. Because it's hard when you really are and you just need help with your spouse. It gives them that.
Okay.
They can still drive if they're still able to. We don't limit them as long as they can still do that.
Okay.
We technically can't take away the keys. We can just tell the family, hey, you might want to
Right.
Double check that driving.
Yeah.
and- okay.
check on mom or dad
Okay.
or whoever it is.
So that's interesting. Okay, so y'all, in the 2 bedrooms, it could be someone that needs the assisted living piece, but then someone, whether it's a spouse, a partner, whether, I don't know, like a mother-daughter situation, y'all
Yep.
allow a well spouse or a well person to also move in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or somebody, who has been diagnosed with Parkinson's, but right now they act and look like you and me. They still drive, but they know what's coming. That way they don't have to move again.
Okay.
They can be very independent, and then as they need that assistance, just start receiving it, and they don't have to move.
Right. Okay.
If you move into independent at first, you're going to have to make that move.
Yeah, and and a lot of times I tell my clients, we have that sandwich generation.
Yep.
So whether, if I'm talking to the spouses themselves or if I'm talking to the kids, it's try to find a place where you're going to have to make the one move. Especially if you know that the inevitable is going to happen where they're going to transition from independent to assisted to memory care.
Yep.
If you can move just the one time, it would make so much difference instead of having to be in one location for independent and assisted and then, find another completely different location for memory care. So y'all do allow for that transition as well, provided y'all have the room.
Yep.
Okay.
And we allow couples to live together in memory care,
Oh, okay.
which is not something that is usual
No, not at all.
because we know it's hard enough already,
Right.
and to be able to stay together still. So the part of the couple that doesn't need the memory care, they can go participate in the activities in the other part of the building.
Okay.
We just have to have a staff member let them out, so that somebody doesn't get let out that shouldn't be.
Right.
But yeah, they're free to come and go.
Wow. Okay. That truly sets y'all apart from a lot of places out there. And that's good to know.
It is.
Because, when you have an aging couple, you don't, the husband or wife doesn't want to leave the other, but they need the help.
Yep.
So, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Okay. So for our viewers out there, real quick, I will tell you that, we took a tour of Anthology. It is beautiful. Absolutely
you.
beautiful.
It's
the
amazing.
rooms, he and I were talking and we're like, I would want to stay there.
That's right.
It was
No doubt.
gorgeous.
It was.
And just the dining area, and it's all windows, and it overlooks, just Dallas. And absolutely a beautiful location, easy to get to, and such a beautiful building.
Yeah.
Beautiful amenities.
Well, and something I would say about the community in that aspect is a lot of times communities have long hallways, right?
Right.
For you to get to the restaurant or the activity that you choose to participate in. Our hallways are short because we are a high rise. So it's easy for somebody to navigate. Because that's definitely something in the past that has been, a concern to a family or a potential resident. Well, I'm going to have to sit down here and here before I can get there. So I'm going to have to leave
That's right.
10 minutes earlier. Another thing is the bathrooms, right? Where they're located and having ease of access, right? We have restrooms that are real close to all the main areas that you're going to participate in any activity, whether it's dining or the theater, wherever.
Okay, y'all thought of
I was going to
everything.
say, well thought. They thought it through.
We're thinking of just with our dad being in the various facilities that we had to put him into, and our mom, there were times where she could get there once a week or twice a week because she couldn't make the walk.
Right.
Yep.
Down the hallway
down the hall
and turn and navigate through.
Right.
Correct. It wasn't easy.
Y'all, and the bathrooms.
Right.
Y'all literally thought of everything.
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for that.
But y'all listened. Y'all truly, y'all, the owners came up with what the issues are for the elderly and how to help that.
Yeah.
So what's the website if people want to check y'all out?
AnthologySeniorLiving.com.
Okay.
And then you just go to the communities tab and find our location. Now, forgive me, I can't remember if it's under Highland Park or Dallas.
Okay.
I think it's under Dallas, but it's pretty easy to navigate.
Right. And it's located pretty much in the heart of Highland Park.
Yeah.
Highland Park and Park Cities. So for
Yep.
all of those looking, it's great. Okay.
And it's great because we're real close to, the Highland Park shops.
Right.
And,
All of it.
so I know the ladies love to shop.
And
so that'll be
Albernays.
easy.
I've done Albernays to go
that's
a
right.
couple of times for some of my elderly clients, and we've had lunch, and so it's like, oh man, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many beds in each of the departments, I guess, or areas you're talking about?
So total, we have 121 apartments.
Okay.
So 24 of those are memory care, and 97 are the technically assisted living.
Okay.
With 36 of them being 2-bedroom.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of the breakdown.
And so you said y'all aren't open yet, but what does that look like?
Yeah. What's the timeline?
Yeah. So state was out January 6th for 2 weeks and did their inspection, I guess you want to call it. And they wanted us to do a few minor things, like since they are not used to having washers and dryers in the units and full kitchens, they wanted us to add fire extinguishers. They wanted us to add a few more exit signs. There was some other things, but some small things
Little
like that,
stuff.
right?
Right.
And then there's one big thing that has to go through the city. So we're basically just waiting on the city to approve that so that we can execute it and then get the state back out. So they're waiting on my email. Everything's done. Please
Right.
come back out.
Okay.
You know, so that's kind of where we stand at this point.
So it's one of those things where I know it's frustrating for you guys not being open yet, but it is also nice to see that the state and the city really, I mean, they make sure with their inspections that everything is
Yeah.
Ready to go.
ready to go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you get clearance, what happens next? I think you had mentioned there's kind of a stair step as far as how you have to fill the building.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once they give us clearance and essentially give us our license, we can have 3 residents move in.
Okay.
And they stay with us for about 30 days. Sometimes it might be a little more just because of getting state back out.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then state comes back out and, in short, gives us the green light to move in the masses, right?
Okay.
So then anybody else can move in.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
And right now you've got like a waiting list, or people are already signing up and putting deposits down, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got a charter club, which is our wait list. So if somebody becomes part of the charter club, there's kind of a stair step, but you get some benefits. The max benefit was potentially up to $10,000 off.
Wow.
And then it goes down
big.
from there as, you know, we get more.
Right.
So being part of the charter club is kind of, you know, a special thing. So yeah, we're taking deposits. And what a deposit does right now is it is refundable, but it reserves a specific apartment for you. And you get to choose that. Obviously, it's based on the ones that have already been reserved. But you get to choose your apartment. And it allows you first right of refusal.
Okay.
So
nice.
then once we call you and say, hey, it's time to move forward and finalize, you can either say, no, I want my deposit back, or, okay, I'm ready, let's make this happen.
Right.
Okay.
You know, we have some people on the deposit list that need to sell their house first, or, you know, some
Something has to
minor
happen.
details.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody's anxiously awaiting.
So how do you pick
great.
the 3 that get the whole place to themselves for 30 days?
Yeah, so that's really hard. For one, it has to be somebody who's comfortable with, you know, just being one of 3. For 2, you know, we want it to be somebody who can also be a great ambassador.
Like a spokesperson.
For for
Okay.
the next one's coming in and kind of helping us to continue to build that list.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
so that's definitely hard, especially for someone who's been there for over 2 years. I've met every single one of them, you know,
Right.
making that choice. But, you know, it's kind of based on, you know, who's shown up to the events that
Right.
we've done for
Okay.
those
All right. There you
depositors.
go.
Yeah.
The most contact, because they're the ones that can truly be that ambassador and voice.
Yes.
Because
Right.
they've been there for all of it,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I
So-
will say, I mean, y'all have done so much in the community, waiting for all of this to happen. Y'all have hosted so many events.
Yeah.
Y'all have been so gracious to let us come out and talk to folks that are considering, you know, coming to Anthology, just on
Right.
the importance of estate planning and wills and trusts and things like that. So, I mean, we've loved the relationship with you guys already.
Thank you.
And we look forward to all of the great things that are going to come your way as soon as y'all are up and running. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
Can't wait.
It is
So
exciting.
hopefully it'll be, you know, this spring, summer, just kind of seeing where that goes.
So let me also talk. So on the assisted living part of it, because I'm thinking of just different questions that we had and what we saw. There are RNs that will be there all
Yeah.
the time, right? Or how does that work?
Well, so It doesn't have to be an RN. So the title in our community is Director of Health and Wellness.
Okay.
He or she can be an LVN.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Or an LPN, I think is
Okay.
the term. They don't have to be an RN. And then at some point, as we get more residents, I do have a budget for a few more nurses
Okay.
to kind of, pick up when the Director of Health and Wellness is not there, like the evenings and weekends, to kind of help, because that's when you have a lot of the issues, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Because the managers aren't there full time
Yeah.
at those times. But then the staff that's going to be there really caring for the residents are going to be the med aides and the caregivers.
Okay.
Right.
The caregivers can be a certified, I just forgot the word. I apologize, I forgot
No,
the
that's
word.
okay. So the caregivers are certified.
Well, they don't have to be, but there's some
can be.
people that have a certification,
Okay.
but they don't have to be. We can train them.
Okay.
And then the med aides, if they've never been a med aide before, or even if they have, they'll be nurse delegated through an RN that our company uses, so that they can perform their tasks.
Right.
And then doctors, I mean, will y'all have a list of doctors that will come in to visit with the residents?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're called visiting physicians because we don't employ them. We're not like a skilled nursing where they are the medical director.
Right.
So we do have a list. And so when a family comes and says, okay, we're going to move in here, we give them what we call a homework packet, which has our preferred provider list in it. By no means does anybody have to use any of those names.
Right.
But it at least gives you somewhere to start. And then also who works well with us, right?
Yeah.
Because it's important that that company communicates well with us. Because they're a piece of your loved one's care. And so are we. So we've got to become a team and communicate.
Right.
So
I mean, I will say what you do, and I know those that y'all will be hiring on once y'all are full and have the residents in there. It's a gift. It's a calling.
yeah.
It is
is.
a true calling. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
It's definitely appreciated for us having gone through it personally, and then, for what we see our clients go through. So y'all are also a great resource for us when our clients are saying we don't know what recommendations to make for, mom or dad. This is our issue, and this is the area they want to stay in. It's great. It's great that y'all are a great resource for us, and I'm going to say it again, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No doubt about that.
Well, you guys are a great resource for us as well because, not everybody has a power of attorney already in place, or a will, or, some of those things that they really need.
Right.
It's not a requirement, but we like to have it so that we know who to go to.
Yeah.
Or if someone does get some memory impairment, we have a go-to person that we know that they have designated.
Right.
So you guys are definitely a great resource for us.
Okay. So is there an age limit to get into the place?
Oh, that's a great question. Technically, no.
Okay.
But usually someone under like 65 isn't going to move in.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Hold on. I may want to be one of the 3 tenants that gets to stay there to the whole building to myself.
Hey, you'll be close to work.
I'll be close to work. I mean, right.
Well, I have had At one of the communities I worked at, I had, I can't remember exactly how old she was, but she was in her 40s.
Okay.
She had MS. So there's going to be things like that.
Right.
But usually when they're much younger, they're going to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Because the average age statistically, unless it's changed since last time I looked it up, is 86.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting.
But you're going to have outliers.
Right.
I've had a
Right.
40-something-year-old. I've had a 100 and, I think he was 102. So I've had both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as pricing, y'all are pretty reasonable from what we've experienced.
Yes.
I mean, there's obviously
Yeah.
high end where you're paying an
lot of
exorbitant
money.
amount, correct? And then there's obviously the low end, and a lot of people say you get what you pay for, but y'all are pretty much right in the middle and extremely reasonable for the amazing facility that y'all built.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think we are as well. The price range throughout the community is about $6,200 to about $9,700 with memory care in the middle there.
Right.
The thing you need to look at when you're looking into communities is a couple things. One, are they a buy-in or are they month to month? Which one fits your family?
Right.
Okay.
Two, that community fee. Is it a one-time fee? Is it several months rent? What does that community fee look like?
Okay.
And then, there's all different pricing for a specific apartment based on where it's located at any community.
Right.
So, what I tell families is the more information you give me, the more I'm going to be able to help you and find that right fit.
Right.
And for me personally, of course, I want my community to be the community.
Right.
But if we're not the right fit, I want to help direct you.
That's nice. That's good. That's
'Cause,
good to know.
There's communities in this area that are more traditional.
Right.
We're not super modern, but we're a little bit more on the modern, updated. So it's really what fits your loved one
Right.
and what appeals to you. So, yeah.
Great. Okay, good. Good.
That is
good.
fantastic. Okay, so the name of our podcast is Raising the Bar.
Right.
So how do you feel? I mean, I know how I would answer for you, but how do you feel you have raised the bar, either personally or professionally?
Ooh. Well, professionally, I feel I've raised the bar in, making sure that my staff and my residents are well taken care of. Not every community can say that. Not every boss can say that.
Right.
I'm not, it's got to be done exactly this way because, you may need to touch and feel and you may need to hear it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of does things a little bit different.
Right.
That's
Okay, good. I like
that's a
that.
good answer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is a good answer.
absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So again, we find you. Website is anthology.com.
Yep.
And then just go to the communities tab and find Anthology Dallas.
Yep.
But y'all are known as Anthology of Highland Park.
Yep.
All right. Perfect.
Great. All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this
Thank you
episode
for
of Raising the Bar
having me.
podcast.
That's right.
Another successful podcast.
Brought to you
And-
by the Ashmore Law Firm.
Brought
So-
to you, well, sponsored by.
Okay.
Is that the same? Brought to you by and
I'm looking at the
sponsored by?
sign. It says brought to you by the Ashmore Law Firm.
Oh.
Is there a difference? I don't know the difference.
Boy.
Maybe it's sponsored.
Brought to you by,
don't know. It works.
we are the Ashmore Law Firms.
That's right.
By us.
By us. There we go. By us.
All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And y'all have a great day.
Thanks to our sponsor, the Ashmore Law Firm.
We specialize in probate, estate planning, family law, guardianship, personal injury, and civil litigation.
You can find us at ashmorelaw.com.
Or by calling us at 214-559-7202.
Again, that's ashmorelaw.com.
Or calling 214-559-7202.